Boom, 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 boom.
That's
Cluck,
that's the
cluck,
ticker.
cluck.
Okay,
That's the ticker.
to say that we're starting.
We are starting.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back, everybody.
Whose fault is it that we missed a podcast last week?
Evie's living her best life. What can I do?
Yeah, right. Life is exhausting right now for me. Would
Right now it is. Last week it was good.
I would hardly call it my best life. Mom, and we're not deterring from the fact that you are the reason. Okay, I don't know where we ended off, but I'm telling you, life is not good. Guys, we just had a system disk failure and it stopped recording the podcast. So I guess we're going to have to find out where the podcast, I don't know. If this intro is messed up, life is exhausting.
Evie needs a new computer.
No,
Anybody want to donate Evie a new computer just for podcasting?
It's so much money. I literally looked into it today. It's like $3,000. I know. And you have to all buy the dongles and stuff, the add-ons, because they got rid of all the ports.
See?
Oh my
Apple
God.
scamming.
And I can't make a second income, which we'll talk about that later in the podcast. Mom, roll the intro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Mom.
Can you even hear that?
I can. I'm sure they can too. Okay.
Just saying if you can hear that.
Yeah. Anyways, life is exhausting right now.
Totally exhausting.
For you too?
Of course. You're only as happy as your unhappiest child.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a saying.
Yes, it is.
You're only as happy as your unhappiest child?
Yep.
Am I the unhappiest child right now?
Most exhausted child. I just couldn't put that in exhausted words because I know it that way.
In exhausted words?
No, you're only as happy as your unhappiest child.
As your most exhausted child?
As your most exhausted child, yes. You're only as relaxed as your most exhausted child.
Oh my God. Okay, Mom. So
What?
Chuck La, for last week's podcast, sent us this thing that he wanted us to talk about. His friend went to an Ariana Grande concert by himself because he likes Ariana Grande's music, and he got made fun of and criticized by some female moms at the concert. What do you think about it?
He got criticized at the concert?
Yeah, so Chuck sent me more information. So he said, I know him personally. He loves Ariana. His wife and friends don't, but he decided to go to her concert in California alone and ran into two moms that called him a pedophile, and he has no right being there, and they would have him arrested. They reported him to security and was basically asked why he was there, and more importantly, why was he there alone. He didn't bring anything more than his wallet, so at the end of the day, he won't attend any concerts anymore. At least not without his wife or sister. I've known him for years and would put my life in his hands. So is it okay for a male of any age to attend a female's concert alone or otherwise? You know what? Wow. I think that honestly, and I don't know if this is offside to say, but I feel like if he was gay, it would be allowed.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing.
Like, why are straight men not allowed to like straight women's music and then go to concerts because they like live music? Right. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Those two women needed a good slapping across the head. Society's gone crazy. Do you not know that already?
No, but really, like...
It's not safe to do anything for anybody anymore.
But, like, I see how it may look weird, but, like, if those two moms liked Eminem and they wanted to go to an Eminem concert... Like, so who cares what stereotypically you should or should not listen to? You know what I mean? I thought we broke down those barriers. It's 2019.
No.
Like, why isn't it...
What barriers have been broken down?
Or, Mom, you know what, too? I feel like if that guy went to an Adele concert, I feel like it would be fine. And Adele's only, like, 5 years older than Ariana.
You're right.
Like, why? Because it's Ariana... why is it not allowed? But if it was Adele or like Rihanna or like I don't know, I feel like Rihanna or Adele, because they're in their 30s. Beyonce, like
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, like, well, Jennifer Lopez is like 50, so it's like, okay, I'm her age, but like, you know, I just don't understand. Like, he's not going to like a JoJo Siwa concert by himself. JoJo Siwa is like 14 years old. Like he's going to a grown 26-year-old woman's concert. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
People are taking everything way too far these days, honest to God. It's making me freaking annoyed.
Like, it doesn't make sense either. Like, okay, she was dating Pete Davidson and Mac Miller. Like, are these men not allowed to go alone and support her, and their friends not allowed to like her music? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh God, it's so annoying. So
it is so annoying.
Chuck, these are our opinions that people should be able to admire whoever they like, you know, as long as it's like, you're getting into pedo territory if you're going to a 14-year-old's concert, because clearly talking about kids bop things is like, why do you, like, it doesn't make sense then. But I mean, to each their own too. You never know what kind of childhood lack of there was, and they want, I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I have no idea why people do the things they do, but in this guy's case, I think going to a grown woman's concert is fine. Like, I don't know.
I think they took it. I think those women never should have spoken, and those women took it way too far by calling a security.
Yeah.
What led them off to think that he was a pedophile? You know, like why? What did he say? What did he do? What, you know?
I know.
What made them think he was a pedophile?
Well, nothing.
Was he wearing a trench coat or something?
Yeah.
Like, no, seriously.
I don't know.
You know, there's the nudist flashers that if you see them with a trench coat, be careful, you might get flashed.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
I think it's crazy. I think society has gone wacko in all sense of the word on everything. People aren't even allowed to joke or have a conversation or afraid to say anything these days without making an apology. You know, everybody has to apologize. Every 2 seconds you turn around, someone has to apologize. What's her name? That blonde reporter who said something about Prince George and taking ballet. She was just saying, not making fun of him taking ballet, like that's really going to last, you know? Like, you know, like, is it really going to last when a little boy takes dance classes? For some it does, from others doesn't. She has kids of her own too. Like, crazy. And what's that other guy's name? Is it Mario Lopez?
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it was, who made a comment too. Like, let kids be frickin' kids is what he was saying too. Like, come on now. Society's nuts. I'm sorry. Society's nuts. I can't wait till this wave passes over because everybody's gone crazy. Every 2 seconds someone's apologizing. Someone, like, how do you feel wanting to be in that industry and being sort of in the industry that you have to watch everything you say and not give your opinion? Like, even today, Casey Neistat says, yeah, what's wrong with a good whack across the butt, you know?
I don't remember hearing that, but okay.
Yeah, like spanking your child. It's okay to spank your child. Don't beat them.
Right.
But, like, now what's he going to do? So everybody's going to hear that and say, so he's going to need to issue an apology? Like, come on. Even the other guys it's funny that he was talking about, were they talking about being spanked? Yeah. Did you hear that part, or did I get podcasts mixed up?
I didn't hear any spanking.
No. Then it was the other podcast. Anyways, all those guys on the other podcast from the Vlog Squad got spanked, and some of them got seriously spanked and spoons thrown at them. Mm-hmm. And so they're having a conversation. What do you think about being, you know, what do you think about spanking and stuff? And they're going, well, don't beat up your kid. But they don't see a problem with being spanked, using spanking as a thing. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I think spanking's okay. Nicholas never got spanked. And look at him now.
Yeah, you spanked me. And look at me. I'm your most unhappy child.
Right? I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I'm just stressed out.
You're my most stressed out child. I don't think you're the most unhappiest.
You guys, oh my God, we have a crazy story. So as many of you know, I'm Canadian. We are Canadian. And the reason I've been able to work in the States for the last 4 years is because I'm a graphic designer. You know, I went to school for media production. I took courses related to the study of digital media and graphic design, and I'm overqualified for a graphic design visa. But anyways, it's not a visa, sorry. Graphic design work permit. And I went to go get my graphic design work permit on Friday at the border, and I got denied. But then I got it after. But I got sort of in trouble. Right, Mom?
They scared the shit out of you. What are you talking about?
They scared the shit out of me, but I didn't cry, which I'm very surprised about. What does that mean?
Very
Does that
proud
mean
of you
I'm
too. That's
I'm,
good.
am I maturing?
No, you're just getting stronger.
Yeah. I'm really surprised I didn't cry. I think it was because I was just shocked.
Yeah, I think you were just numb.
I was so numb because, guys, okay, so long story short, I got in trouble because I had a second income, which was YouNow, which is technically considered a job, a second job, and you're not allowed to have a second job on the TN work permit that I was on. Little did I know that the whole YouNow broadcasting job, I guess, came along because I was just being helpful at my first graphic design job, and I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to be helpful. And it started off as an innocent thing. I wasn't getting paid to be doing the live streaming. And then it started off as a hobby, and then it continued as a hobby of mine. And then YouNow granted me with a tip jar, which I'm extremely thankful for. It helped me have a second income and helped me really not live paycheck to paycheck. And then I guess because I was making an income, it's considered to be a second job. So when I went to go get my TN work permit this time, the officer that I had Googled me, and there were plenty of sites on me, and he asked so many sites, and he asked if I was a TV star, and I said no because I'm not. And then I told him about the live broadcasting and all that, and he said, oh no, that's a no-no. But he was super helpful, extremely nice. He told me that he could basically and should basically arrest, detain, deport, and ban me from the United States for 5 years. But because I literally and honestly had no idea that making money on the internet was a thing that I wasn't allowed to do, and I was just open and honest with him, he gave me the benefit of the doubt, and he gave me a second chance, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And he educated me on what I am and am not allowed to do, and he scared the shit out of me, but he was very empathetic. But what I was going to say is now I'm banned from live streaming on American soil because of the whole second income thing. So I have to get an immigration lawyer and look into the whole what I can do about it. They told me to get a P1 visa. Long story short, you don't care about this, but yeah, I almost got banned from the United States for 5 years because I was being helpful and arrested. So, moral of the story is do what's in your job description and don't be helpful.
That's it. What else can you do?
I don't know. I was like, okay, you know what? Also, too, is guys, this girl on my YouTube channel came up on my recommended. Her name is Christina Randall. She went to jail for 3 years, and she started YouTubing now, and she was like telling people the unspoken rules of prison, like prison guards and prison food and all this prison talk, and it was super interesting to me. So when it came up in my recommended, I clicked on it. Then I looked through her other videos and just binge watched a lot of her videos. Little did I know the universe was watching and being like, oh, we should scare her into going to prison. No, that is not the next story. I was scared shitless. I was like, I watched all of her videos and I was like, there's no way I can go to prison. I can't be gay for the stay. I cannot be like blackmailed. Like, I am scared shitless. I cannot go to prison. So when he said I should arrest you and detain you, I was like, fuck no.
All right.
I was just so scared. I was completely honest, and I think being completely honest is what saved me. But holy shit, I was scared. But that's what our stressful day was like on Friday, and that's why I feel...
Stressful day on Friday. Drove 2 hours there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Back. To drive 2 hours there.
Guys, if you're applying for a visa, make sure you don't forget the most important thing, your freaking degree, okay? I forgot that in Toronto, so we had to drive 2.5 hours to the border. Then we had to drive 2.5 hours back. Then we summoned my aunt to let us... to drive us on the 407 to go back and cut an hour of our time.
The tolls road,
yeah.
People don't know the 407.
407 is you got to pay for it to ride on there, which I'm scared to see what that bill is like. But I mean, I guess it was worth it because in the end, that first officer that was extremely nice, extremely helpful, extremely empathetic was helping the new officer that was dealing with my case. So
we had to make it back in time.
We had to make it back in time before his shift ended, but he ended up staying after a shift with that. Again, I'm extremely thankful for him. I'm extremely thankful for him.
I'm grateful.
I mean, the other guy, the next guy was much more stern. But like the thing is that I didn't get to explain is like they're looking online, they Google me, and there are these websites that make up my net worth. And they claimed they claimed that my net worth was 1 million to 25 million at the max. There's like 10 or 20 different sites. It's like, okay, how can I cash in on this if that's what I'm worth? Second of all, how are you believing these fake sites? Like, at least ask me what's in my bank account and show you proof. Like I know that's not exactly what your net worth adds up to, but like if my net worth is this, how do I cash in? Okay, because I
renovate your mama's house and buy her a car.
Not only that, I could probably pay for a good immigration lawyer to tell me what to do so that I don't run into trouble, which is what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to do things legally and abide by the law because I love America, okay? Like, just help a sister out here. Like, I wouldn't need a graphic design job in New York City to pay my bills, pay my rent, and literally keep me alive. If I was this millionaire that the internet claims me to be and that you guys are randomly believing, which is so annoying to me because that means anybody could write anything on the internet about me, and then they're going to look at it as something resourceful. So that's what really not got me in trouble, but what really raised an eyebrow for them is like, was I an undercover TV star that I was just getting this job to legally be there? No, my intent is to be a graphic designer. My intent is to do graphic design work. I'm finally working in a marketing agency, which I've always wanted to do from when I first moved to New York City. I loved Mad Men and I wanted to be John Hamm. And now I'm getting the choice, and I almost got denied for good and banned. I just couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. But yeah, I didn't poop myself, but it definitely scared the shit out of me.
No kidding.
So...
No kidding.
Just do your research if you are looking to work abroad in a different country, and make sure you're prepared for anything and everything, and maybe sanitize your online portfolio. See, the thing is that they were like, you Google your name and everything comes up, your YouTube, your Instagram, your Twitter, blah, blah, blah.
That's why she doesn't lie.
And I'm like, exactly, which is why I'm telling you the truth, because imagine if I was lying.
Right?
Like, my intent is pure. I have a pure intent. Especially, I know everything you can Google online. I was not trying to hide anything. First of all, I've never been asked or told that I couldn't do that in the past. And second of all, like, I'm just being educated now. Everything is online. I was never trying to hide anything. So it's been crazy. Now I'm just overwhelmed with life because, like, I constantly feel like I'm fighting an uphill battle. Like, I'm like, when one thing is done, my ankle's done, then I'm worried about my finances, then I'm worried about finding a roommate, then I'm worried about finding a job, then I'm worried about my visa, then now I'm worried about immigration, and now I'm worried about my YouNow earnings and making it a living and not breaking the law. And like, it's just so much that I have on my plate that I'm like, when do I get a break? When? Because I feel like I haven't had a break ever. Like, I really don't know what to do. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. And it's hard because, like, I'm trying to make a career for myself, you know? I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to dream big. And it's like, one, I can't do that, so I don't know how to play within the limits. And two, I feel like if I'm exhausted and take a night off, then I'm hindering my growth, you know? So either way, I'm hindering my growth or the government is hindering my growth, and I just don't, like, know what to do.
Well, you do know what to do, and you're going to be doing it.
Well, I do. I got my first thing is to find an immigration lawyer.
Yep, that's it.
So it's like, the only reason we're allowed to do this podcast is because we don't make money on this podcast.
I know.
It's like, thank God that I still have an outlet to, like, relieve my stress and be creative. I can still do YouTube videos because guess what? My YouTube videos aren't monetized, so I don't make money from them.
Instagram stories?
Instagram live. Guys,
Live.
I'm going to start going live on Instagram periodically because I can't go live on you now as of right now. But it's just so crazy to me. It's so crazy. Like, let's say I'm on the street and I see J-Lo and I record a conversation with J-Lo and I want to post it online for my friends to see. Let's say that clip somehow goes viral, then I start making money on it, and it's like, oh no, you're working a second job. You interviewed J-Lo. Why'd you interview J-Lo? Oh, because I bumped into her on the side of the street and I thought, hey, I'd like to have her 2 cents for a second, and I thought it was cool to share her wisdom, like, to the world. Like, sorry, I didn't know that was a job, you know? It's like, there's a fine line between job and hobby, and, like, I just wish I could sit with that nice officer for an afternoon to just explain me the rules, you know?
Mm-hmm. And also for you to explain that you did not get paid to interview Joe Jonas.
Yeah, that was the one thing that they had on me.
To interview any of those people.
No, because that
you interviewed, because they were either on the weekends or after hours.
Or not even on my YouNow. They were on Music Choice, which I didn't get paid to do Music Choice stuff. So it's like, when I came back, guys, for my second application, because the first one got denied because I forgot my bachelor's degree. Anyways, when I came back, he's like, why'd you interview Joe Jonas? I'm like, I thought I was being helpful. Like, and you can't argue with them either. You can't be like, I wasn't getting paid for Joe Jonas, because one, they might just deny you because they feel like it, or two, they might, like, ask you to show proof, and it's like, oh my God, like, I just needed the visa then and there, that, like, I just said, okay, I understand, I'm extremely sorry, I will never make the same mistake again. Because that was another thing that the second officer grilled me on, was like, how can I believe and know that you won't do this again? Well, one, because you just said I was all over the internet, so if I was, you'd see it. Two, I never make the same mistake twice. I learned my lesson. You scared the crap out of me, both of you, and I won't do it again. I was pure in my intent. I didn't mean to break the law. I didn't even know I was breaking the law. Like, frick, man.
You think they're following you now?
I don't know, but if they are...
Did you get new followers? Did you check your numbers?
I did.
Did you get 2 new followers?
I got new followers, but one of them was Eric's cousin, so I knew who one of them was. And another one was followed by other YouNowers, so I was like, these aren't the Border Patrol people.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, it was a crazy experience. So much driving, so many emotions. Just like, oh my God. Just like having your life almost get ripped out from under you for being helpful is a crazy feeling, for something that you didn't know that you would get in trouble for. You know what I mean? For something that you didn't even know was a troubling thing. Like, it was
I know, but
such...
isn't it ridiculous, the fact that they detain you, put you in jail for some stupid work thing versus drugs, alcohol, weapons, you know, those things you could say detain and whatever, but just for work? Like, really?
I know. Like, I didn't even murder anybody.
Get your 5 years stamped and say, sorry, kiddo, we don't want to see you till after 5 years.
What's crazy, it's like, I was saving the lives of many Americans that watch me. I was preventing your suicide rate from going down. Like, I was feeding your homeless people from going up. I was feeding your homeless people on the side of the streets. I was entertaining supporters who around the world can't come to New York for whatever reason, and I was showing off your beautiful country, and I'm being penalized for that?
Yep.
Like, don't you want to make the world a better place? Don't you want to connect people from all over the world together? or from all over the country together. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I am sorry. I'm sorry for doing what I thought was a good thing. Turns out it's not.
Not.
So.
But you're still going to feed the homeless, I know it.
I know, and I'm still going to write a book to help people if that's the only way that I can do it. So, yeah.
It's been a crazy roller coaster, but you know what? We got to the ending of the ride.
You know what?
We got off.
I don't even feel like I'm off the ride, but I do feel like I try to show people to follow their dreams, and I try to be an example of that instead of just preach it. And like, I just had a living example of myself with my ankle to never give up for what you want and to do your own research and all that. So I guess this is just strengthening my, like, you know how I'm writing an essay on my book? I'm not writing an essay, but I'm writing a book, and it's like, oh, we can't believe her because she never actually went through the struggle. Well, hello? You see that I'm going through the damn struggle, okay? So, you know, whether you're from a different country and you feel like it's too hard to make your dreams come true, like, look at me. I'm trying to show you that, like, it is hard, but if you work through it and you really want it, like, you can make it happen. And I hope that you find a way to make it happen legally. And I hope that there's a good ending to this fight, because I will write about it because it's important. And I also hope that people can take the lesson that I want them to take from it, which is never give up on your dreams, no matter how big you think they are. You know, there's a way to make it happen. You just got to talk to the right people, you know, and you got to fight for what you want. So now I'm fighting.
If you're going to stress out, stress with movement, not idle.
Right. Yeah. Try not to just
stress.
Try not to let it cripple you, paralyze you.
Yeah, paralyze you.
Do what you need to do to make things happen, and then just let it go to the universe, honestly. Like, don't just ask the universe for it and have wishful thinking and just sit in your bed and believe that somehow, some way it's going to happen. Put things in motion and then believe somehow, some way it's going to happen.
Right. It doesn't happen by you just sitting there and staring at the ceiling. You got to take action.
So this is another part of my struggle, and I hope it...
And this too shall be resolved.
It'll be resolved, and everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's really hard to keep things in perspective while you're going through it, and I know that. And, like, even I have to remind myself that, like, you just got to get through this. You've been through worse things, and you got to get through this. But honestly, like, being threatened with jail, like being arrested and banned for 5 years really scared me, because I just felt like everything was being ripped away from me for something that I thought I was doing that was good. And I had no idea was bad.
This guy was in between homes and in between jobs. And so he just felt like he needed to get away and go to the States. He's from Canada, and he crossed the border to go to a beach where his family went to every year. So he went grocery shopping, and he went to the beach. He must have gone to Trader Joe's, and then went to the beach and sat on the beach and, like, sort of just inhaled, exhaled type of thing.
Yeah.
And when he went back to the border, it sounded like it was the American border, he got detained.
Why?
Because he had, you know how I said my whole life is in my car?
Yeah.
Well, his whole life was in his car. He was in between homes. He had stuff in there, groceries in there, clothes in there, whatever. They didn't believe him. They thought he was looking to live in the States. And he says, no, I just went to a family beach that we've gone to every year with my family. They did not believe him. And they detained him and banned him for 5 years. So now he's got a lawyer on it. Saying that, like, you know, someone was in a bad mood, not listening, misunderstood his vehicle for what was in it. But he was truly in between jobs and truly in between homes, and he just had stuff in his car. And he got in trouble for it. So whatever's going on in the States right now, I've noticed the border has picked up on the toughness.
Yeah. I mean, it's good and it's bad. For honest people, it's like, what more can I tell you, man? I'm telling the truth. But for dishonest people, like, that's a way that they can catch them, and that's good because they're being dishonest. But for honest people like me and that guy, like, that's why I think the Border Patrol guy, the first guy, was extremely empathetic and, like, nice to me and realized that the more he questioned me, the more honest I was being, and the more, like, he understood that I wasn't making up a story. Like, when I said, yeah, and I kept saying the same thing over again because that's all I knew to be true, he was like, okay, this girl is an honest person, and I believe she was just led astray and had no idea, which they don't explain things to you, so how are you supposed to know? Like, he was very, like, he played both sides really well. He was like, you know, we have supervisors that we have to talk to, and we have to make sure that our country is secure and people aren't breaking the law. But I also understand from your perspective too, like, and I was like, you know what, I understand. Like, I understand how it looks on my side, but I'm honestly telling the truth. I have nothing else to tell you. Like, I was being helpful. It grew into something that I didn't know it was even going to grow into. That said, I had no idea that was breaking the law. And 3, 4, whatever point I'm on, my intent originally and always was to create visually pleasing graphics for the companies that I worked for, because I found great, like,
you froze.
I found great satisfaction in people helping people's vision come to life, you know? Like the Girl Starter thing that I did, it was amazing for the producers to be so happy with it.
Yeah, it was so good, yeah.
You know, like, it's just, like, so unfortunate that they make it so hard. It should be a continental thing. Like, we are North America. Just like Europe is Europe and you're allowed to work wherever you want to work in Europe. Like, or Africa, you know, like, I don't know how it works there, but, like, I'm just saying the continent of Africa, you can probably work anywhere in Africa. It should be the continent of North America. We should be allowed to work in the States.
I agree.
Like, it's just so crazy.
Yep. So on a different note.
Yeah.
Your sister's going to Austria. What do
I
you
know.
think?
I'm really happy for her. I did not see this. Not in her cards, but, like, I'm more adventurous than Kat, I would say. Kat's more of a homebody, it feels like. And so...
No, she's always traveling and stuff.
No.
She's always hiking. She's always out.
Mom, before she went to Asia, Kat was a homebody. Okay? Kat likes home. And I'm not talking about the physical house. I'm talking about comfort and familiarity. She's not used to being out of her comfort zone, where I thrive being out of my comfort zone. And that's why when she went to Asia, I was so surprised, because she went there for 2 months and that's way out of her comfort zone. But she did go with somebody. And 2, Austria, I'm so happy for her, but I just never saw her moving countries like I did. Like, I just never... Because, like I said, she's a homebody. She's happy and comfortable in a familiar environment. So she's not used to just uprooting her life like that. And I think that's amazing that she's doing that.
And she was stressed out right up to the time where she went.
I think it's amazing. Amazing that she's doing that. Because I think that when she goes and lives in Austria, I think she'll grow up. Like, I think that she's too not childish, and she's not childish, but I don't think that you can grow, like, 30 minutes from home on your own. Like, I think I grew when I moved to LA, and then even more so when I moved to New York City. I, like, grew as a person, as an individual, and I think that's what will happen to her, because right now she's still asking you to buy her groceries and do things for her. Like, I think in Austria she can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, she has to be an actual adult now. Like, that's why I think this is going to be really good for her, is because when you move away from home, and I mean really move away from home, that's when you really grow as a person, and, like, you start to depend on yourself, and that's a really good thing.
You start adulting.
You start to depend on yourself, and you need to depend on yourself because, you know, as much as you can depend, we can depend on you. Like, when you're gone, we're going to have the rug pulled out from under us, and at an old age. Like, at least when we start from younger, we don't have to be dependent. We can use you, you know, when we want to or when we're just at our wit's end, but I think we should be dependent on ourselves. Mm-hmm. I just think that this is a really good thing for her, and I hope that I can visit her while she's there.
Yep. Well, she'll be there for a while, so you have to make it there, so.
I know, but I've been here for a while, and Dad's never come to visit me. And it's only an hour flight, you know? It's like, I've been here for 4 years, going on my 5th.
12-hour bus flight. A 12-hour bus ride.
Yaya's never come visit me, like...
Well, she lost her chance. She had an opportunity.
My cousins haven't come visit me, so, like, yeah, I mean, I'll visit my sister, because my sister's visited me, and even if she didn't, I would still visit her. But I just, like, I'm so excited for her.
Yep,
I think that's really great.
Because that's what I'm doing, Austria 2020.
Yeah, I'm a tad bit jealous, too, because that visa process will be easy for her. And she'll be secure. So. It'll be easy and she'll be secure because the company is doing it for her.
The company's doing it
exactly,
for her,
which is why I'm saying that,
she
like...
works for a great company, that's for sure.
Great company.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for our next podcast. Basically about what, like... Should I just find a company that I can grow within and just stick to it? Or should I do my entrepreneurial ventures and find different companies to work for and do my entrepreneurial ventures as a side hustle? You know what I mean? Like, first of all, I find it hard to have a side hustle in New York because on my visa, you can't have a side hustle.
Right.
So I have to figure out how I can make that work because I really love New York City. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you should just go home to Canada, make things easier for yourself. It's like, first of all, do you even know me? I don't make things easy for myself.
Right.
Okay? Second of all, I don't want to regret it later. I feel like this is more of a fire under my ass where if I was in Canada, I'd be too comfortable and like just go through the strides instead of actually now I have to put things into motion because things need to get done. You know what I mean? Where in Canada, it's like when you reach your comfort is like the enemy of growth. And I don't want to feel comfortable because when I feel comfortable, I feel like I won't grow and I won't push to do things. Like this has to be a blessing in disguise. This has to be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, but the comfort thing could also happen in New York. It doesn't matter where you are.
Not when the government's on your ass and you feel like...
No, not when the government is on your ass, but I mean that same thing can happen anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Canada home or if you're in New York or if you're in
Austria. Same thing can happen? I can have 17 side hustles in Canada.
Yeah, you could have 17 side hustles in Canada. If you want to do it, you could have 17... well, not now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though, Mom. I'm saying that if I were to go back to Canada, I could have unlimited side hustles and I would be legally fine. Here, I didn't know that I can't have a side hustle. And, like, it's hard because you want to build a career, but your 9-to-5 is only paying you a certain amount of money. So you're trying to have a side hustle and, you know, be an entrepreneur and live the American dream when you're literally legally not allowed to. So in Canada, I can do that. And here I cannot, which is what I'm saying is that if I moved back to Canada, it would be easier for me. But I think I would be less happy and I think I would have less growth because I would be too comfortable in knowing that I'm legally there and legally allowed to do things and I have time, where here I feel like time is limited. So the more I put things into motion, the more things get done. You know, like in Canada, for a specific example, in Canada, if I move back and I can start doing auditions for being an actress, I'm going to say, yeah, no problem. I can work at a restaurant part-time and I'll go to this audition. Man, not this one. I'll go to this audition. Where if I'm in New York and I get the proper visa and paperwork so that I can start going to auditions, I'll be like, oh no, I need to take this audition. I need to go to this audition. I need to go to this audition. I can't be picky and choosy. I need to do what I need to do and grind and, you know, because limited time, visas have limited time and all that stuff. And anyways, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Well, I think you could do that anywhere.
You're not hearing me, but it's okay. we'll end
It's
the
up
podcast
to you
here.
and where you do it.
You can't do it anywhere, Mom. Has Friday not taught you anything?
Who?
Forget it. Okay, forget it. Okay, this is the end of the podcast.
Okay, bye. Good night. It's time to go to bed, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
What if they're listening to this in the morning?
Good morning to everybody who just woke up. Thank you for
What about the
us.
afternoon or
Good afternoon,
evening or any other time?
Enjoy your dinner if you're listening to us
Oh
while
my
you're having your
God.
dinner right now.
And
Make
if
sure you
they're
hit
at
that
work
follow
and
button.
listening to us,
Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share our silliness with your friends and family. And thank you for your continuous support. I'm over and out. Peace. Bye.
wow, she hung up on me. All right, guys, like my mom said, we're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud, OMG Mom the Podcast. And if you want to keep up with me and you used to watch me on YouNow, I'm figuring out what I can do to continue doing YouNow legally, of course, because I'm an abiding legal alien in the US and I don't want to jeopardize that. So thanks for all your support and we'll see you next week. I'll see you next week.